Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Saturday morning art live stream. I'm Daniel J. Hogan, your intrepid cartoonist friend, and we're here to do some watercoloring. Before we do that, some housekeeping stuff. Get my notes. Okay, just gonna have to deal with this. I don't like that. Bear with me here. Sorry. Okay. Some quick plugs before we get rolling. This month, on April 18th, I will be appearing at the Lansing Independent Comics and Zine Fest, aka LIX with a Z. That's April 18th at Grail Hall in downtown Lansing. It is free to attend. This will be my first comic show appearance since 2020. Hoping to maybe have a couple new mini comic things available. We'll see how the next couple of weeks go. I've been saying that for the last month, but just haven't had time to sit down and actually do it. But we'll see. I'll have plenty of stuff otherwise. I'm not worried about it. And it's a 1-day thing and a 6-foot table. It's not like I got to fill a festival tent or any of that stuff. So, speaking of, hang on, let me double check Twitch over here and make sure chat settings are not set to something stupid. Okay, we're good. Anyway, so yeah, LIX, April 18th, free. Go check that out. I'll have links in the YouTube version of this later once everything is all finished and edited and everything. So check that out. That'll be fun. It's a good time. I went there last year, fell in love with the event, and I'm excited to table and, you know, not going into it expecting to make $1 million. It's fine. I'm just mainly there to just support the scene and support the event. So that's fine. And it was $25, so that's nothing. And when you're used to doing art festivals where it's like $350 for the weekend, $25 for a table for a few hours is pocket change. So yeah. So LIX, check that out. And then I lost my notes. No. There we go. Early May, I have a workshop, journal comics workshop at Deer Alley here in Lansing. It's a 2-hour workshop. I'll teach you how to do journal comics. It's $60. That includes all your materials like pens and sketchbooks, etc., and all that fun stuff. You can sign up for that at deerollie.com. That is DearOllie.com. And click on their events tab or workshop tab. I think it's events. And just look for the journal comics one. If you are on YouTube right now, there actually is a link for it in the current description. So go check that out. That'll be fun. There's only 12 seats available, so I hope you can make it. That is in person only. That is not a virtual thing. So if you don't live in Lansing or aren't willing to make a road trip, then, you know, you can still sign up. You just, you can't make it. And then also in May, East Lansing Art Festival. That is May 16th and 17th, where I will be debuting new works. If I have time toward the end of the stream, I'll show off some stuff here. I probably should have prepared for that, but oh well. I had a rough morning. Woke up at 6 a.m., hoping to have a nice, good couple hours to prepare for everything, but woke up and my street was a lake because of heavy rains overnight. So I had to get out in a raincoat and boots with a metal rake and go clear 4 storm drains by our intersection there that was backing up to our house and flooding everything. So that was not great. That was quite the workout. If you've ever tried clearing clogged drains fighting against the pressure of, you know, the suction of the drain, trying to pull all the crap down, and then, you know, trying to pull up like heavy wet leaves. It's a workout times 4. And then I realized my sub pump was activating quite a bit, and so I had to go outside and make sure that the discharge spot was actually clear. It mostly was, but the water was basically just pooling on top of it, so it wasn't really going anywhere. So I had to quickly improvise a drainage trench with my boot, just dragging my heel across the grass to the driveway, and that seemed to do the trick. So fun morning. I lost my, you know, a good hour and a half doing all that stuff, and we had water in the basement. Thankfully, not a bunch, just a little bit, probably the equivalent of a couple spilled glasses of water, thankfully. But it could have been way worse, but it was not that bad. So, and if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. That helps a bunch. I appreciate it. You'll you know, see when I have these other live streams coming up, or, you know, see my shorts and whatnot. I never get comfortable saying see my shorts, so it's a odd thing to say. And if you're on Twitch, please give me a follow. That also helps a bunch too. It's appreciated and all that fun stuff. So today I'm working on new found cartoons. I can get the mouse out of the way. We don't need that. We can bring back the watercolor paper here. So what my found cartoons are is they all start as a random watercolor shape, and then I make them into a cartoon. Again, I should have probably had an example. Let's see if I can dig one up real quick. Is this anything? There we go. That's a good, that works. This is not watercolor, this is acrylic, but it's the same principle. So those all started as paint shapes on a canvas, and then I turned them all into birds. So what I'm doing today, this morning, at the very least, is just making a bunch of watercolor shapes, and then if I have time, I might start drawing some, but I just realized probably all my good pens are at the studio, so that may not happen. And also, like I said, doing all that rain damage control took a lot out of me this morning, so I might just paint a bunch of stuff and then call it good for today. All right. Take a quick drink, and then we'll get going here. Okay, so I think I did this last time, so I'll do it again. This is my sort of custom watercolor palette. Sorry, Nigel. My cat Nigel's next to me. He did not like that squeaky sound that made. You're okay, bud. This is an old Koi watercolor set by Sakura. They're great if you want like a good like travel watercolor set. They're really great. The cases are really great. The paints are good. Like, yeah, the paints are also really good. I don't know if they're professional level or not, but anyway, but they're still good because you have everything here. It comes with a little water brush, all that stuff. So what I did years ago was I took out the built-in palette that was in here. Basically, I had to cut it out, and then you can kind of see here, I put duct tape on the bottom just to smooth out the bottom because it's all like rigid, like honeycomb kind of stuff. And then bought a bunch of, you know, a bag of these individual little plastic watercolor palette pans. And then just filled in as much as I could. I could probably fit a few more in here. I just haven't gotten around to it. And I filled these with I never know how to say this. Holbein watercolor paints. So you just take really any tube watercolor paint, and this is how you like really kind of maximize your watercolor tubes. Is you just fill the pan with the paint, kind of mix it up a bit, and just let it dry, and then they reactivate when you get them wet. And so you're not like having to constantly like squeeze tubes out on a palette and do stuff that way. So I mean, I filled this I don't know how many years ago at this point, and I'm really only down to like this one here that's needs a I probably have refilled this one, but that's their opera pink, which is a favorite color. That's actually it's right there. Forgot I did not check my focus before I start, but it looks everything down there should be okay. Okay, so that's what I'm working with. Actually, these are all whole bean colors. These are this row here are all Daniel Smith colors. They have more pigmentation and stuff, which is kind of neat. I did have a swatch somewhere, and I don't know if I have it here. So we'll just go for it. These are my brushes I'm using today. They're all Princeton brand. These two brown ones are the Neptune. Man, I cannot. The two brown ones are the Neptune series. I believe they're probably like synthetic hair, but I really don't know. I'd have to look it up. But they're good. I've used these for years, and they're great. I like them a lot. And these are watercolor brushes. So if you're out there and you want to know what kind of brushes to get, if you're doing watercolor, get the watercolor specific brushes because they'll hold water better and that sort of thing. And this is another Princeton one. This is the Aqua Elite line, but I just mainly got this one because it's what they call the dagger shape. So you can get kind of interesting shapes with this one. Okay, so we're gonna get going here. This is just gonna be me like assembly lining a bunch of shapes. And talking about it. So just gotta get aside from having to clear storm drains, it's a nice, lazy, rainy Saturday morning. So this is like the perfect day for this sort of thing. But man, I tell you, clean storm drains at 6 in the morning was not how I wanted to start my morning. So when I'm doing these, I try not to like think about it. I just try to like quickly do a shape and just leave it alone. What I might do also sometimes is maybe I'll throw a little extra color or a different color in there. Just to kind of add a little contrast or something extra to it, That's it. And I just did not create a place to put all these things to dry. So, like I said, I was expecting to have like 2.5 hours of prep this morning, and I had barely an hour after doing everything. So, all right, we're doing fine. It's okay. you're curious about the paper I'm using, these are B paper, watercolor, 100% cotton. These are 6x9 sheets, which I will mat to 5x7. I used to cut them down to 5x7, but in order to like save me some steps and also give me a little more room as far as what I'm working with, I now will just paint the shape and then I will, arrange it within the mat how I want. Obviously, I try not to go too far to one side because then I might have to cut off the paint, but that's what we're going for. We'll do a few more green ones and then we'll switch colors. We'll shake up the green here, get a little bit of a darker one. Ooh, the rain is coming down. Hopefully you can't hear it, but a little bit of this more blue green to it just to kind of make it a little more. Go. Apologies for no stream last Saturday. I just got hit by a truck, metaphorically, thankfully, and woke up last Saturday morning and just did not have the energy to do anything. Admittedly, part of that was I didn't have a plan for what to do last Saturday morning, which was a big failing on my part. But I think even if I had, I just majorly hit a wall because I taught a workshop last week for the first time, and so that whole week was preparing for that, then doing it, and then just I think just my social battery just was in the red big time, and I couldn't stand it anymore. I needed a break, so it's good to listen to your body. My body was like, you need to sleep and rest, so I did. We'll do one more green and then we'll change things up here. I don't know if you saw there, like I kind of like closed my eyes a bit. I try to do that sometimes. A little bit of yellow this one. Go. Speaking of art festivals, so I did hear back from the other art festival I applied to. which was one in Midland. I'm on the wait list for that. So fingers crossed. The next notification wave will be in a few weeks. I think towards the end of the month, the 24th or something. And it's very likely I'll get in at that point, because what happens is, like, they do the announcements for people who are in. They have the deadline to pay for your booth, and then when people don't pay for the booth, then they go to the wait list. And I think last time I was waitlisted for some festival, I definitely got in. So because what some artists will do is they will hedge their bets. And yeah, so what some artists will do to like hedge their bets for the season is they'll apply to a lot of festivals, and then once they figure out which ones they actually get into, then they'll pick and choose the one that they actually want to do, because it's, you know, you don't really have to pay for a booth till you get in, and then you accept that you'll be there. So like that's not unheard of, that some artists, like, you know, especially if there's multiple shows in the same weekend and they just kind of want to, you know, see. That was weird. My computer just said CPU was minus 1000%. I've never seen that pop. I mean, now it's back to like CPU usage is 6.5%. That was weird. That was some sort of weird glitch. Anyway, sorry. So people, the artists they'll, so say there's like 3 art festivals on the same weekend in May, they'll apply to all 3, and then depending on which ones they get into, like say they get into 2 of those 3, and they'll pick which, you know, the best one they think is to do, and that's how people get into stuff later on, when not, because they're not going to do 2 festivals on the same day, obviously. So yeah, that is not unheard of. Might be somewhat disingenuous, you know, but I understand. I get it. Like, I'm not judging anyone for that. I'm sure probably the event organizers don't appreciate that, but they are getting the jury fee regardless. So, which is why some art festivals they do have those jury fees. So, because if it was free, you would see more of that for sure. If you have like even $30, that does, you know, slow things down a bit. Okay, we'll do a different color. Let's see here. I really need my swatch for this. Let's go bold here. We'll try one of the Daniel Smith ones. So if you're doing watercolor and you want to make like big shapes, this is the type of brush you want. This is a size 16. Because it's much easier to, whoa, I almost did that on the paper towel. It's much easier to do this with a big old brush like this. If you were using this, like, it would take me a while to do that. I gotta be really strategic about where I put these, because I did not, like I said, I did not set up a drying area. Stupid rain cut into my pre-production time. And I can't really stack them on top of each other because they're all wet. If I was at the studio, I would hit them with the hair dryer. But I can do. Whoops, that's not right. Okay, sorry, just doing a quick quality control check. Okay, let's do one more. So like I said, these Daniel Smith ones, they're really nice because they have like interesting pigmentation and texture to them and all that stuff. Whoa. Don't splash water on my hard drive. That would be bad. But you probably can't see it too much in this one, but when this dries, it'll have a little more pigmentation to it, usually. Although I will say with the Daniel Smiths, that tends to work a little better when you're going right out of the tube. But, okay, that's somewhat dry. I might have to take a break here in a minute to change my water. But we'll keep going. All right, what's next? Well, let's go with my favorite color here, the opera pink. It's a good bright color. Just really trying to fill that brush. Okay. Spice this one up, add a little blue to it. Sometimes I will, after the fact, go and add a little more color just to brighten up the color a bit. Like once it's dry. Like if there's a color I really like. Let's see, I got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And we'll do one with the dagger brush. Okay. All right, let's Let's just do some blue ones. I actually have to go to the studio this afternoon because someone bought one of my pieces, one of my bigger canvas pieces, so they're picking it up today. And obviously, I'm going there to work on more stuff. Rainy days are good studio days because I don't feel like I should be outside or I could be doing something different. Because fortunately, our studio, as great as it is, does not, we don't really have like windows. So I am just kind of in a windowless room, which is, fine. What happens if I mix this? All right. Starting to run out of room here. Oh, oh. Ah. Okay. I did do a count of how many this size found cartoons I have ready to go for East Lansing, and I had about I think I had 60, which was enough to fill one of my walls, which is what I like. I prefer to do. I like having a wall that's just all these like matted and in bags and stuff, and then do the canvas stuff on the other walls. So what I'm doing with these is it also means I could, rotate out some of the older ones and put up the new ones obviously first, and then replenish the ones that sell with the old ones, so I can kind of keep the wall filled, which is good. I'm going to take a quick break, change my water. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Okay, we'll do a few more, and let's use up this. So I have, when I watercolor paint, I have two things of water. One is the initial like rinse, get the stuff off the brush, and then the other one's like the clean water for the actual painting. So little tip there for you. So that needs some more paint. Okay. Maybe move this around a bit, let the paint kind of slide down a bit. You can also do something like this. Get like a weird little trail there. That's the fun you can have with watercolor. Let's see. Let's try to remember what some of these Daniel Smith ones are. They tend to be pretty dark, so I don't use them as much for these. I mean, the ones specifically I have here tend to be pretty dark, but I'll go for it. Try this green one. Yeah, that is very dark. Be careful splashing the paint around. I'm at the studio. Don't want to get paint on my monitor and stuff. See how it kind of moves around the page. I'm sure there's some watercolor masters out there who would say that means I'm doing it wrong, but whatever. I have that much water on the page. It's not a good thing. dab up something on a palette here to clean it up. So I can do a different color. All right, trying to learn one of these Daniel Smith colors. I think I know which one this is. Yeah, this is a blue of some kind. But also kind of dark. Oops. There, added a bit of a lighter blue to it. I wonder if that'll help. Okay. I should draw on these on stream next. We'll see how today goes at the studio. I got some other bigger things I got to finish over there, so let's see. You're like an orange. So I'll take out that little brush. I'll put in a little bit of red. Change the angle on that a bit so you can see a little better. There we go. Yeah, we'll do another orange one. There we go. This might be the last one of these I do, and then I'll yap about something for a bit or whatever. Because I got a bunch of these, and Probably already have more than I need, but it's all right. Yeah, I'll keep going with that orange. We'll do one more orange one. Why not? There we go. Guess I could go through all these and show them off. There's that one. These ones that are freshly kind of still wet. So this one. And so when I'll do one that dry. It's this one. So once these are dry, so what I do is then when I'm looking at them, I spin them, this way and that to try to figure out what I can make them into. This one will this will get cut off by a mat at some point, depending how I do it, but it's all right. So like maybe I see something this way and I draw on top of it, or this way, or whatever. You get the idea. One of those orange ones. Kind of blue with a little darker blue in it. The orange one. Grab the first stack we did and go through those. Good thing about watercolor is it dries fast. So I like how that turned out. You may not be able to hang on. Might be too close to the camera there. There we go. Looks a little better. I like how that turned out. Good color mix there. I might jazz this up a bit. This looks kind of flat. So why don't we do that real quick? Get a little more something on there just to make it pop a little more. Maybe some of this blue I got. Yeah. Just add a little bit of extra contrast or something. Yeah, there we go. There for now. Okay, so there's this one. Another, I like how that turned out. I will definitely not be able to see this on camera that well, but this in person, this is the one I used some of the Daniel Smith stuff on. You can kind of see some of the sparkle it has to it. This is another Daniel Smith one. Whoops. Looking forward to turning these into weird little creatures and things. Like we already looked at this. Yeah. Okay. So that's all we did today. That's plenty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah. That's probably good. Although I guess I could do 4 more, hit it even 20. I guess we'll do that. We'll do 4 more and probably have an even 20. That'll help get me past an hour here because I'm running out of gas from having to do that rain maintenance crap this morning. So, boy. What color to do? What color to do? Should I do a red? Mix it with this orange I got in the palette. Oh. Throw some of that blue in there just to. Yeah, neat. Of course, now I need more room to put these somewhere. Just studying my palette, trying to remember what some of these colors are. I should grab my cheat sheet. It's somewhere. I could do another one. Go. The early days, I would just do the solid one color, but lately, I enjoy mixing the colors on the paper just to make it look a little more neat. That's cool. I like how that turned out. 2 more. 2 more. Why not? Last one. I'll wrap up here. See if I can lighten up this green I got on my palette. There we go. Let's add some yellow to it. That did the trick. Maybe now it's a little too light. It's all right. Can fix that. So in watercolor, you go light to dark. Because you can put dark on top of light, but you can't really put light on top of dark. Unlike, you know, stuff like acrylic or whatever, where once it dries, you can basically do whatever. Of course, if you do it while it's wet, then, you know, it mixes and stuff, but that's fine. Okay. All right, I'm going to call that good because 20 new watercolor shapes will turn into something, and that's plenty for now, and especially since at the moment I'm only in one art festival. Fingers crossed I get off the wait list for the one in Midland. I was looking forward to doing that. I'll be there regardless because stuff got in, so if I don't get in, I'll be wandering around at Midland. So and just to remind folks, for other events I have coming up this month, April 18th, the Lansing Independent Comics and Zine Fest Licks, April 18th. That's free. That's at Grail Hall, downtown Lansing, Michigan. Go check that out. I think doors open at 11. I think it's like 11 to 5, something like that. And then May 16th and 17th, I will be at East Lansing Art Festival, which at the moment is my only confirmed art festival for the season. So please do at least come to that one if you can. I don't know where I will be yet booth wise, but I will share that info once I get it. I'll have obviously the pieces you saw me working on here and some new canvas pieces and all that. And sign up for my Journal Comics workshop at dearollie.com. That's DearOllie.com. Click on their events tab, go to the Journal Comics workshop. That is on May 2nd, so that first Saturday in May. That's a 2-hour workshop. The cost includes the workshop and all your materials you will need. Is $60, which is for a 2-hour workshop, and all your materials is actually really good. So we'll have some fun. I'll go over basic cartooning stuff and then also, you know, basic comic stuff, and then focus on the more journaling, autobiographical aspect of what you can do with that. So yeah, check it out. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that stuff. It's fun. It helps me out. If you're watching on Twitch, please follow, or at the very least share my channel or videos with someone you think might enjoy it. And I will see you, I think, next Saturday. I don't think I have any conflicts yet. So what I'll be doing, I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out. And thank you for watching and hanging out with me this morning while I worked on some new watercolor stuff. I'll see you soon. Bye.